Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Let's start with the seven realities. Ashok ji, please go ahead.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. The seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. 1. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. 2. The only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. 3. The only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, position, welfare, and even life itself, are sacrificed. 4. The only real renunciation is that which abandons in the midst of all worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. 5. The only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest taste of enmity or hatred, try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, or word, or deed, not even those who harm you. 6. The only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. 7. The only real surrender is that which is it is that in which poise is undisturbed by any other adverse circumstance, and the individual amidst every kind of hardship is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Given by Meher Baba in 1952. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Thank you, Karthik.
Thank you so much, Ashok ji. With that, we will get back to our reading. In God Speaks on in the chapter 7. So, if you remember, it is Doha season. So, yesterday we encountered a Doha to end the volume 2 of Balnaku's um, book. Here we are. We stopped last week, last Sunday, uh, after a Kabir Doha. Uh, and I think Sanjay ji also shared the song itself. I mean, the Doha set to music. Doha is set to music in multiple meters. It's, by the way, a fixed meter that it's written in. So it's always the same number of syllables. So it's very scientific. Yeah, I mean, it's not a loose form poetry, but a structured poetry. That's what I mean. Okay, so we stopped on page 69, somewhere in the middle. So we'll start from there. Any thoughts before I get started? No.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
let's yeah, let me get started. Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. The veil that separates a man in ignorance from God, who is all knowledge, is so subtle even the highest and finest thought cannot pierce through it. This veil consists of seven folds of seven different deep colors. Each fold is tied with a separate knot. Thus, there are 7 knots to the 7 folds. The 7 colors represent the 7 root desires corresponding to the 7 fundamental impressions: lust, greed, anger, etc., connected with the 7 openings of sensation in the face, mouth, right nostril, left nostril, right ear, right eye, and left eye. In reality, big R, and as the only reality, big R, the soul is always God, without beginning and without end. False illusion begins with the descent of the soul in 7 material stages, and real illusion ends with the ascent of the soul to the 7th spiritual plane. God is a macrocosm. God is a microcosm. And God is always beyond both. Knowingly, man is body and man is mind. But unknowingly, as in deep sleep, man is also beyond both. So I'll just pause here. So I think the previous paragraph, descent, 7 material stages, I think is the reference to the kingdoms. Ascent, seven planes that we know. Microcosm, macrocosm. Any thoughts? What is being referred to here? I
It
mean,
is seen
it's
naked eye or not seen by naked eye. That's simple explanation.
yeah, and also the fact that bigger reality is the uh, is basically the all-encompassing uh, circle, right? So it's the bigger circle which encompasses everything. So in effect, every attribute actually belongs to God because there's nothing that cannot not belong to God. So if you look at it mathematically. So anyway, let's continue. Analogically, it is true that man is made in the image of God. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say when I pause that macrocosm, microcosm. So macrocosm, microcosm, the other thing that Baba confirms and which many religions and schools of thought have said is the body of man, the human form, is in the image of God, right? So, and we know the famous diagram where even through the kingdoms, it is the form of the human that is taking different shapes and then coming and finally standing up in the way God stands up, right? So that's another way of looking at macrocosm, microcosm. So macrocosm being God Himself, and microcosm being each individual human form. I'll repeat. Analogically, it is true that man is made in the image of God. The top of his head represents the Vigyan Bhumika, Arsh-e-Ala, the highest spiritual state or the seat of Brahman. The forehead corresponds to the entrance to divinity. The center of the forehead, just above the 2 external eyes, is the seat of the inner or third eye. When the veil with all its 7 folds is finally removed, man is then able through the third eye to see God face to face and sees Him more actually and naturally than what he is ordinarily able to see of his body and the world through the 2 external eyes. In order to arrive at the divine entrance situated in the forehead, man has to pass through the 7 doors as represented by the 7 physical openings in the face. When an initiate succeeds in actually entering the divine path, it is for him a single 7-in-1 achievement, and it applies to the first of the 7 folds of the veil, namely unfastening of the first knot, disappearance of the first fold, crushing out of the first root desires, wiping out of the relative fundamental impressions, doing away with the first of the 7 deep dark colors, entrance through the first door as represented by the mouth, and arriving on the first plane in the subtle sphere, the Prana Bhuvan or the Alam e Malakut. So let me read the 7 steps again and then we go to the supplement. Number 1, unfastening of the first knot. So if you remember, each fold of the veil has its own knot, symbolic or illusory or whatever. So that knot is removed. Then with that goes the disappearance of the first fold. Number 3, crushing out of the first root desires. Number 4, wiping out of the relative fundamental impressions. So there are root desires and then there's fundamental impressions. Number 5, doing away of the first of the 7 deep dark colors. Number 6, entrance through the first represented by the mouth. And 7, arriving on the first plane in the subtle sphere, the Prana Bhuvan or the Alam e Malakut. So let's go and see what 15 is talking about. 15. The 5 spheres described by Meher Baba. Meher Baba says there are 5 spheres. Number 1, gross. Number 2, subtle. Number 3, mental. Number 4, composite. And number 5, real. So we are familiar with gross, subtle, mental. Number 4 is composite. And number 5 is big R, real. Let's see what they are. The first 4
planes, 7 planes and 5 spheres.
Yeah. 5 spheres. Yeah. Jebo. The first 4 concern relative existences, and the 5th one is composed of the one and only big R, real, big E existence, real existence. The question of details is all the more important when a subject is beyond ordinary human experience. On the one hand, more details confuse one more, and less details explain things less. This gives rise to a variety of terms and expressions for use from different viewpoints and in different contexts. In the absence of underlying experience, descriptions of the same one thing often sound contradictory. But in the light of relative experiences or the final realization of big T truth, the very contradictions prove to be complementary expressions about the same one big T truth. The facts and the fact of facts underlying the 5 spheres will bear this out. Now we take the spheres. The first, the gross
Jai Baba,
sphere.
Karthik, can you just go to back to the previous paragraph?
Yeah.
You heard gross, mental, and subtle and mental, and then composite. What is composite here? It's
Abhi
little
aayega.
it's
Abhi
confusing.
aayega. Abhi aayega. Hold your horses.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and only distinction is he says that the only one that's real is the 5th one. The first 4 are only relative. Okay, that's the only clarification, Ashokji. And then we'll start one by one now.
Fourth and 5th is composite, right? Transition.
Correct. I think 4th is composite and the
First
first 4.
The area between 4th and 5th is the valley, the abbey that we call. That's the composite one from. Once you cross
Okay.
that's what. Maybe. Yeah.
We'll find out.
After
we'll
4th
find out
is the problem area. So that the transition is difficult. So that is 4th and 5th is the composite one.
Okay. So I start. I continue. The first, the gross sphere. although entirely depending for its existence on the subtle, is distinctly different in very many respects from the subtle. The gross sphere consists of numberless worlds, suns, moons, stars, and in fact, everything material from the crudest to the finest. Some of the worlds in the gross sphere contain minerals and vegetation only. Some others contain countless embodied beings also, and in some there are included human beings. The point of prime importance in the gross sphere is our world, the earth. Here, amongst all other beings who are conscious in greater or lesser degree of the gross, man, with his full consciousness, is superior to all other beings of all gross worlds. There's an asterisk. This means also superior spiritual amongst all human beings of the gross sphere. Right. So the phrase that takes us to the footnote is man with his full consciousness is superior to all other beings of all gross worlds, all other beings and all other gross worlds, right? With that, let's go down again. This means also superior spiritually amongst all human beings of the gross sphere. Meher Baba tells us that of the three worlds in the gross sphere which are inhabited by human beings, ours, the earth, is the one where the man is the highest spiritually. There are so there are three worlds like the earth, and the highest spirituality is in our earth. He explains that whereas man on this earth possesses in his personality equal degrees of head and heart, 50% head, 50% heart, man on the other two worlds possesses 100% head and 75% head and 25% heart, respectively. Man, in the course of his reincarnations, is born on any one of the three worlds, but must finally take form and reincarnate on this earth to fulfill his divine destiny, which is God realization. In the gross sphere, the earth is the last and nearest stepping stone to the path. The two other worlds are the most close to the earth in the pattern of habitation. Altogether, there are 18,000 worlds with life, but these two worlds and the earth are akin to one another in the pattern of human life. So, firstly, the use of the word worlds is confusing here. So, when you say three worlds here, it's to be seen in the context of the three Earth type worlds or Earth type planets that are in the gross world, and not to be confused with the five worlds and the three, gross subtle mental world and so on and so forth, right? So here the three
Right.
worlds
Yes, same
specifically
word is
refer
used,
only
but
to,
this is different context.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, different context. I'm just clarifying. Yeah, so I have a thought here, right? So he says reincarnations take us back to any one of the three worlds. So if you see this phrase here, man, in the course of his reincarnations, is born in any one of the three worlds. So, like we saw in the chart, so if you go to the chart that we were seeing yesterday, last Sunday, we saw that, where is that? Yeah, here. So if you see this chart, these are all the types of reincarnations that you go through. So I think if I understand that supplement correctly, along with this permutation and combination, there's also the 100% mind earth or mind world and the 75% mind world, which we can alternately go into. Does that make sense?
Jai Baba Karthik,
Yeah.
there is the sentence which you read. There's also an extension to that where you stopped. Man, in the course of, of his reincarnation, is born on any of the three worlds, but must finally take form and reincarnate on this earth to fulfill his destiny, which is God realization. So I think you must read it fully.
No, I know, but then I am worried about the first part. My comment is linked to the first part. That's why I paused only at the first part. Okay. My
No,
comment
but
is exactly what I said now, which is based on this phrase, the suggestion is that along with a German birth and an English birth and a male birth and a female birth and different religions births that we will take in reincarnation, there is also the possibility, based on our sanskaras, that we go to the other world which has 100% mind. Just something
No,
to think
no,
about.
no, no.
So,
I have a different view.
okay,
Probably we pass through the two worlds and then come to this world. Actually, that's my thing. Somebody I wanted to take name, but it is being recorded. Somebody who's too intellectual is now with us, and there are also people with a lot of heart are also within our group. So now this is the place to get even. You know,
mhm.
I think we
Okay,
have
so
passed
it's
through those
basically
two
after
worlds
your past.
to other two worlds where you have seen the extremes of mind and heart. You are here for the final journey in a balanced way.
Okay.
My thought is
That's,
just because.
no, no, I think, I mean, it sounds plausible in the sense that now if you go to the second part of the statement, like Ashok ji recommended,
Uh,
but
uh,
must finally take
before
form. So
before
if you
you
see
go
the state,
there,
yeah, yeah.
uh, what are the possible words of 100% head, 75% head, and
It's
25%
not known to
heart?
science. It's not known to science. So science has not science as in modern science, as in astronomy and the world of science as we know it has not recognized this, and Baba confirmed that it's not known to us.
Mhm.
So these are
No.
worlds that
But the
probably
US,
is
you yeah, sorry, I interrupted. US government about a couple of years back made a lot
yes.
of investments into finding out the other celestial bodies where there is human life. Uh,
It's
Yeah.
actually there is a lot of content that's out there, and in fact, there is a big push towards getting all that from the classified status that it currently enjoys. So you're right, Sanjay ji. There's a lot of work that's gone in the US on uncovering alien existence and alien worlds. I mean, other worlds. And the belief is that they have made a lot of progress and figured it out. But for reasons known best to them, they have not revealed it and brought it out in the public domain, thanks to the nature of these projects. The nature of these projects are highly classified, and that entitles them to a shroud of secrecy. But now there is a push to try to get it out, and I believe it's in a few years it'll all come out. Like Trump made a few announcements, in his last term, which indicated as such, and there's more to come, right? So I believe it'll all come out. So
Uh,
just to,
that is
yeah,
one
go ahead, Mohammed.
alien.
Yeah.
Science has made here and there some leaps into knowing or getting confused with these alien beings or their travel gadgets to visit Earth and all that. Okay, but the other aspect which comes to mind is the astral world or the archangels, angels, and other things. Are they associated here or not?
Okay. Firstly, astral world is mentioned in one of the supplements that we will see later, and astral world is basically um, Well, it's not. I don't think it is any way connected to what we are reading. Point number one. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. Second,
Okay.
archangels and archangels are actually covered in. If you remember the book by Bhav, right? So there was quite a bit of coverage for that. And then archangels are also covered in beams. So we will encounter it later. But they are specifically souls that are, kind of bypass the human route and are in a state of uh, uh, in an animated state, but they are in support of the cosmic phenomenons as desired by the hierarchy, as desired by the perfect masters and so on, and they're working to push everybody forward. And that's my if my memory serves me right, that's my take based on all what I'm saying is based on what Baba's words are. Right. So I think what we are reading is not connected to either of those two concepts, astral world or to the archangels.
Yes.
Having said that, aliens and other forms of life in other planets, Baba has mentioned multiple things. One, he has mentioned multiple universes. Second, this is the reference that we are currently reading about multiple Earth-like planets. And yeah, I think those are the 2 points. I hope.
Yeah, Jai
Yeah,
Baba,
sure.
he mentioned there are 18,000 worlds and with life. So I mean, we it's a big cosmos in the universe. So it's a great a platform. Out of that, Earth is the only place where we can get God realization. Is what I understood. That's why I said if you can read the second part also, and then we can discuss if my understanding is correct, or if you have any points, anybody has a point, because it's very profound, even the second part. So I
No,
request you
no.
to
So
read the
I thank you for pointing that out. So uh, again, to confirm, God realization happens only in Big E Earth, in our planet Earth. Okay. Uh,
correct.
Yes.
uh, so more or less, the evidence seems to suggest and support what Sanjay ji says, which is you go through the other Earth-like planets and then start your sequence of this. The sequence of what do you call this one, right? The reincarnations within the earth, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if that's the theory, anyway, let's read that whole line again. Man in the course of his reincarnations is born in any one of the three worlds, but must finally take form and reincarnate on this earth to fulfill his divine destiny, which is God realization. So maybe we have all done our 100% heart, 100% head, and 75% head births already, and then headed to Earth, right? So I hope we are clear now. Let's get back.
Yes.
But
No, you are
until
not.
man,
I think you
yeah,
didn't complete that.
no, I completed it once. I read it the second time. I read it the
Okay.
second time and wanted to point out this first part of the phrase.
Okay.
If you
Okay.
want, I'll read the whole. Yeah, I read
Ah.
the whole thing. You want, I'll read it again. I'll
Sure.
read the
Sure.
whole footnote really quickly. This
Oh.
means also superior spiritually amongst all human beings of this grosphere. Meher Baba tells us that of the three worlds in the grosphere, which are inhabited by human beings, ours, the earth, is the one where man is the highest spiritually. He explains that whereas man on this earth possesses in his personality equal degrees of head and heart, 50% head and 50% heart. Man on the other two worlds possesses 100% head, 75% head, and 25% heart, respectively. Man, in the course of his reincarnations, is born on any one of the three worlds, but must finally take form and reincarnate on this earth to fulfill his divine destiny, which is God realization. In the gross sphere, the earth is the last and the nearest stepping stone to the path. The two other worlds are most close to the earth in the pattern of habitation. Altogether, there are 18,000 worlds with life, but these two worlds and the earth are akin to one another in the pattern of human life.
So here
So,
18,000 words with life, not necessarily human life.
human life, yes, correct.
Yes. Okay.
And I think if from here to here, if you read,
I think it is clear now. As
yeah,
we,
exactly.
I made
Sanjayji's
a
point is
induction.
clear. Yeah, yeah.
No. I think it is. You may be born anywhere. You may be alternating. It looks like actually. Like
No,
some of
I don't
us
agree.
come from
So
one world of the earth, and I may have come from earth to earth, and Ashok might have come from the heart world to this world.
that's
So
less likely. If you
yeah,
look at this, it says
yeah.
in the gross sphere, the earth is the last and nearest stepping stone to the path. Now,
Okay, okay.
Big P path means एक बार अंदर गए तो वापस क्यों जाओगे? So I think that you are right. So you
Acha, acha, acha.
finish the other two things and then come here and then you stick here.
Yes.
And it
But
also
it will also
ties
depend
into
on the
this
impressions that you gain, right? Suppose you want
and your
to
sanskara. Yeah.
spend your impressions of the heart which you have gained, and probably you might be sent to the mental wala world, where, where
But
your
but
so and mental, if you are too much of mental, you might be sent to the heart, which is 75% wala world. I'm just
Mm.
thinking loud, yeah.
Jay Baba, I think the the understanding is that the Earth is the final destination. After that, again alternating. I don't know whether that's true or because reincarnation
Okay.
happens only on Earth.
Okay.
Correct.
Point to be discussed maybe with some others
yes,
also.
yes.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Now
Yeah,
another
I think
another point I would like to say with that chart, if there was a possibility that we can transmigrate or we are pushed to the other worlds also of 100, 75, and 25, why the chart has not shown that?
exactly. Hello, Baba is absolutely mathematically, I mean, clinically perfect, right? So I
Yes, yes.
think I totally agree with. So see this last and nearest and path. So all of this together, I more or less, I mean, I'm sure that uh,
Okay.
uh, we reach reincarnation on the big E Earth after we finish the
That
100% head and
right.
75% head. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's more comforting also to think like that.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. But those of us on this call looks like we just landed from the 100% head, by the way.
Jai Baba.
So we just got here, I think. So we have a long way to go. That's what I mean.
So
So
84 lakh, all these things happen must be in the earth, right?
Yes, 84
Before
lakhs.
84 lakh, those are the part of earth, probably.
that's a good question. Not clear. We don't have enough enough information to confidently answer your question. Whether 84 lakhs is only on Earth or 84 lakhs could include those two other Earths.
No, it looks like if we juxtapose the chart, so the whole
Then 84,
process of
yeah, correct.
reincarnation is 84 lakhs human life. So
Correct.
because of that, it is always in the earth, I think, we
Yeah.
live in. Yes, possibly. That is how we can interpret also.
Fair. Okay, let's continue. But until man here awakens to the subtle, his full consciousness remains fully occupied with the gross, even when he reads and thinks of spiritual subjects such as the one discussed here. The second, the subtle sphere, is the sphere of energy, And although it is divided into 7 divisions, it is one world by itself. Its subsistence depends upon the mental sphere, but it exists entirely independent of the gross sphere. So please note, the first gross sphere, although entirely depending for its existence on the subtle. So the gross sphere depends for its existence on the subtle. And similarly, Baba says, second, the subtle sphere is a sphere of energy. Here, this line. Its subsistence depends upon the mental sphere, but it exists entirely independent of the gross sphere. Just pointing it out. Yep.
Yes.
Continuing. In the parlance of time and space, the domain of the gross sphere, with its infinite space comprising universes of innumerable suns, planets, and worlds, including our Earth, is but a speck as compared with this subtle sphere. Wow. Just let that sink in. So, Baba says, gross sphere with its infinite space comprising universes of innumerable suns, planets, and worlds is like a speck as compared to the subtle sphere. So, from a time and space standpoint, it's mind-boggling to think how big the subtle world is going to be. Okay, let's continue. The path of self-realization, the Rah-e-Tariqat of the Sufis and the Adhyatmic Marga of the Vedantis, consists of 7 planes, mukams or sthans, is the one and only bridge between the first sphere of the gross and the 5th, the real sphere. So only through the planes or the planes, right? Yeah, 7 planes will you go through from the first sphere of the gross to the real sphere. The subtle sphere.
There is
Yeah.
a slight confusion here.
Sure.
7 planes and 5 spheres is that? No. You
Yeah,
just
so
read
let's
it
see
once
this
again.
chart. No, 1 second. I'll show you this chart and then it'll be. Yeah. So if you look at it this way, not even this. Where is 1 second, please. Yeah. So this, if you see this chart, so here the first bottom is the gross world. Then you have the subtle world till this line, the 4th plane in the middle of the 4th plane. And then on top of that, you have the mental world. In this chart, the 4th world and the 5th world are not there, right? So if you look at it, the real world is outside of this, or it's here, or it's all encompassing. But let's wait. Let's read and come back. So hold on to your confusion, but we are talking only in the context of this chart alone. So we'll come back.
Jai Baba Karthik,
Yeah.
although this chart alone is representative, I think the comprehensive chart is what you just opened slightly. The chart 11, which is at the end, that is the
Yeah. I
comprehensive.
know. That's comprehensive, but it's very confusing as well. So I wanted the simplicity of this for explaining
Yeah, okay.
what in response. Yeah. But I know the Ludwig chart is the most comprehensive.
Yes. Jai
Okay,
Baba.
let's continue. So I'll repeat the last line. The path of self-realization, the Rah-e-Tariqat of the Sufis and the Adhyatmic Marga of the Vedantis, consisting of 7 planes, mukams or sthans, is the one and only bridge between the first sphere of the gross and the 5th, the real sphere. The path has its first 3 planes in the subtle, the 2nd sphere. The subtle sphere, through its energy, its angels, and above all through man's partial and full subtle consciousness, human consciousness, partly or fully freed from the gross, in the gross, while penetrating the gross sphere itself, also penetrates infinite space with its suns, stars, planets, and in fact, everything and every being in all the worlds within the gross sphere. So,
Can
the
you read this para again, Karthik, please?
sure. The subtle sphere, through its energy, its angels, and above all through man's partial and full subtle consciousness, which is human consciousness, partly or fully freed from the gross, in the gross, while penetrating the gross sphere itself, also penetrates infinite space with its suns, stars, planets, and in fact, everything and every being in all the worlds within the gross sphere. So, all I take away from this is when when the subtle conscious human soul is looking is actually operating, he's operating from the gross body, he's operating through his uh, human consciousness, but it's partially freed from the gross world, and from there, from that locus, from that position, he penetrates infinite space of gross and subtle. Is what I'm understanding from this. Any others? Any thoughts? Anyway,
Of the
it may
gross.
get clarified in the next para. So let's continue and
Also
then come back.
penetrates infinite space with its sun. As you get to taste the subtle world, you are partly into subtle world. You
Correct.
get infinite space. Get the ability to penetrate into the infinite space, which is in the gross world of sun, stars, planets, and in fact everything and all the worlds within the gross sphere. Purely
Gross
being
and the
gross,
subtle.
in the gross sphere it is written.
Yes, you're right.
So
Correct.
when
While
you are in
penetrating the
gross
gross sphere.
sphere, when you yourself are in gross sphere, you do not really comprehend what it is actually. Sun stars, which are physical or gross objects, But when you enter into the threshold of the subtle sphere and also being in gross, you get the real idea of the real gross sphere which is around you, which
The
purely
full
being in
extent.
gross sphere you don't get. Like we can't, we just read in the books and see in the sky the stars and everything. We really cannot comprehend them in reality. Cannot imagine being there but once you are in subtle, you have the taste of the subtle, you are able to really realize what they really are. That's what I would understood. Yeah.
Yes.
Any others?
Our comprehension right now is the sky, and depending on the cloud or the atmosphere, we see the depth very shallow or slightly deeper. Beyond that, visible sun, moon. Beyond that, it's all what is we read in the book or the videos that are created for
Right.
understanding this. So
Correct.
maybe as we go through the path, this all becomes internalized, and then we can see them without any aids. That is what is meant here.
Yeah. Correct.
Yes. Okay. Let's continue. The unlimited diversity and intensity of subtle sights, sounds, feelings, and powers have no parallel in the gross sphere, save energy, which becomes limited within the bounds of the gross, and human consciousness, which is surrounded by gross limitations. What does this mean? I am confused. unlimited diversity and intensity of subtle sights, sounds, feelings, and powers have no parallel in the gross sphere, save energy which becomes limited within the bounds of the gross and human consciousness, which is surrounded by gross limitations. Okay, so anybody wants to try to explain this?
The human, human life has that inbuilt energy inside, but it is limited by the gross elements totally. So as we go further, this unlimited diversity and intensity of subtle signs, sights, sounds, feelings, and powers can be experienced, or you can become a part of that, or that becomes your part. But that is being not available right now because of the limitations surrounded by the gross sphere.
Right. I think just to give a simile, it's like all these spheres are like chained information, that's all tied up. When you get into the subtle, everything gets unchanged and explodes itself into its real form. Within the gross, you can, I think, experience a very limited part of these energies.
Yes.
That's what I think. Because you are limited by the size of your eye and the length of your, vision, how far you can see and how much you can imagine. But in a subtle world, there is no such limitation of the gross. So then you get to experience them in their finality, or in their larger forms, or that way.
Sri Ramakrishna has given explanation for this, for understanding this. He says, if you are in front of a screen with a gap in the center, and what is there beyond the screen is seen through the gap. So as you are far away from the gap, you see something is seen beyond that. But as you near the gap, and your eyes are actually in the hole there, you see the whole world away completely. But right now, because you are not so near, you are not reached that place, your vision of the other world is very, very less, or even almost nil. He has given a simile for this.
Beautiful example, Mamaji.
Very interesting example, yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Because the gap does not change in size, but then as you get closer, your ability to see more and more of that world is better.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. The third, the mental sphere, is the sphere of the spheres. It is absolutely independent of both the subtle and gross spheres, and is independently sustained by divinity. The mental sphere is the very abode of mind, big M, individual, collective, and universal. The mind, big M, pervades its own sphere as much as it does throughout the subtle and gross spheres. So it's all encompassing. So it pervades its own sphere as much as it does throughout the subtle and gross spheres. The sphere of the mind, big M, includes everything relating to intellect, intuition, insight, and illumination. Herein are also contained the loftier planes of the path, the fifth and the sixth. The fourth plane is but a junction between the third plane in the subtle sphere and the fifth plane in the mental sphere. All this is straight from here. Right? This is what's being explained. Mind, subtle world, fourth plane, third plane, and fifth plane. Nevertheless, the mental sphere does not, and cannot touch the big R real sphere, as nothing can touch it save its own big R reality, conscious of itself in the eternal I am God state of God. That's the last one, the fifth one. The fourth, the composite sphere, is the most named and the least understood one. It is composed of 21 subspheres, and as such, it is both a sphere and not a sphere by itself. The 21 sub-connecting links are made up of 7 sub-gross and sub-subtle spheres between the gross and the subtle spheres. 7 sub-subtle and sub-mental spheres between the subtle and the mental spheres, and 7 sub-mental and sub-supramental spheres between the mental sphere and the real sphere. The peculiar nature and position of the composite spheres could be grasped more easily through either of the following tables. Table 1. Composite is gross, and between gross and subtle, 7 spheres, sorry. Then there is subtle and mental, and between them, there's 7 in the middle, and then between mental and the fifth world of real, 7. Another way of looking at it is table 2. The gross sphere, first sphere, 7 lower spheres or subspheres, of 4, the composite sphere, fourth sphere. Similarly, subtle sphere, second sphere, has 7 middle subspheres of number 4, the composite sphere, fourth sphere. Number 3, the mental sphere, third sphere, 7 higher subspheres of the 4 composite sphere, which is the fourth sphere. 5, the real sphere, fifth sphere. Anyway, I think this is the same thing in a wordier way described here is what I see. But this tabular representation is clear, right? So if you see this in the context of this, real is I am God state, this side, after seventh plane, God state, right? That's real sphere. The composite sphere, because of the way it's described here, is in between all 3 of them. And there are 21 sub-spheres that make up the composite, is my understanding. Anybody with their thoughts?
Where the line is crossing, go up the first one, the earlier picture.
Chart.
The chart. See, between the gross and the subtle, there is that first plane where there is a line that is crossing. So this itself has 7 layers.
Yes.
That's what I understood.
Lower
Yes.
level, 7.
Yeah.
This is the lower composite subspheres.
Yeah. The first.
7
and
of
then
them.
again on the fourth, there are 7 layers.
Yeah.
And again, finally at the sixth, there are 7 layers. So it becomes 21. You call it world or layers or planes,
Subspheres, whatever.
Called spheres, yeah. So, लंबा बहुत रास्ता है. जय बाबा.
Lamba or confusing भी है.
Yes, very confusing. Or Karthik, there's one line says it's a gross sphere and not a gross sphere. Something of the line above. It's very confusing also. Can you just go up?
Which one? Yeah.
1 second. And then both a sphere and not a sphere by itself on the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it is composed of 21 subspheres, and as such, it is both a sphere and not a sphere by itself. I think I'll explain what Baba is trying to say there, right? So what he's saying is, so because it's composed of 3 things which are potentially independent and separate, but yet together. So it's different from the others. That's all he's trying to say, right? So it's the 7 plus 7 plus 7, the 21 subspheres that make up the composite sphere. So
Okay.
that's why they are that line is there to distinguish it from the others. As I said, it's also confusing. So I don't blame you.
So till now we
Okay.
were thinking of only 7 steps to climb. Now it has become 21 steps to climb. Okay.
21 or 21 plus 7?
Plus
It's
7.
21 plus 7.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Can you read that line again? It is composed of 21 sub. That line again.
Yeah, sure. I'll read the whole paragraph. The
Yeah.
fourth, the composite sphere, is the most named and the least understood one. It is composed of 21 subspheres, and as such, it is both a sphere and not a sphere by itself. So it's a composition of multiple spheres that make up composite sphere. So that's why I think it's not a sphere, but it's a sphere because it does not belong to gross, subtle, or mental. So that's the way I look at it. But I think for general absorption purposes and the fact that most oft proclaimed and most oft repeated uh, planes and worlds are clearly this diagram, right? And if you look at it, there's nothing new that Baba is saying. He's only going deeper into these three lines, like Sanjay ji correctly said. This arc, this line, and this arc. And the God state is the bigger real world anyway, right? So let's not get confused too much, but recognize that there is more complexity to this than this diagram. But this diagram is good enough, and if is the primary understanding that we need to strengthen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Kama's here. You peeped in yesterday also. What time is it? Are you in Europe? If you're in Europe, this is quite a feat for
He is
joining
in
in.
US. Kama is in US.
No, I'm
Oh,
in
you're in the
California.
US. Then it's okay. Then it's okay. You better be on the calls. So, how are you?
Good, good, good.
All right.
Jai
All
Baba
Yes,
right.
Kama.
Jai Baba, Jai
Southern
Baba.
California, Northern California, where are you?
Southern California. Tomorrow we go to the LA Center.
Oh, good. Very good. Are you going to Walnut Creek?
Uh, not sure.
Okay. All right.
Jai Baba Kama.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.
So you will be in Oklahoma on 24th May? Where
Hmm.
that spot?
No, I'll be in Mera now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, you're going to be in Marana. Okay. How long are you going to be in Marana?
Till 22nd.
22nd. Okay. And is there an event or you just by yourself?
Oh, there is an event 4-day program.
Oh, okay. Conducted by?
From the I think they have invited a chief guest from, Myrtle Beach. I forget his name. You can see on the website, Merana.
Okay. 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 And what's the theme? What's the topic?
Topic, don't think it's just Charles
It's just
Haynes,
the
I think.
Sahwas. Oh, Charles
Yeah,
Hines. Okay. From Myrtle Beach.
right.
Yeah. Hines family. I mean, I listened to a lot of his talks and videos. He's basically he has seen Baba as a kid and I mean, he's grown up very closely with Liz and Kitty Devi.
Yes.
So yeah, that's Charles Hines. Okay, let's continue. The seven lower subspheres are spiritually superior to the gross sphere and they do touch the gross, whereas the 7 higher subspheres are neither spiritually superior to the mental sphere, nor can they ever touch the real sphere, as will be clear from further details which follow. So, just to summarize, 7 lower spheres, this one, between the gross and subtle, are spiritually superior to the gross sphere and they do touch the gross, whereas the 7 higher subspheres are neither spiritually superior to the mental sphere, nor can they ever touch the real sphere, as will be clear from further details which follow. On the one hand, the all-important Big P path, the one and only bridge between man and God, runs through the 2 spheres of the subtle and the mental, and on the other hand, there are innumerable things and beings in these 2 spheres as well, as in between the 7 lower and 7 higher subspheres, and each one of the things and beings is directly or indirectly vital to the path. From the 7 lower to the 7 middle subspheres, inclusive of the subtle sphere, amongst other things, there are the abodes of the disembodied souls, spirits, and the unembodied souls, angels. Mamajit wrote. So your question was not off the mark. From the 7 middle to the 7 higher subspheres, inclusive of the mental sphere, amongst other things, there is the abode of the archangels. So your answer is right there. So between these, in the composite sphere reside the spirits, unembodied souls, and archangels, right?
Okay.
The spirits, disembodied souls, both good and bad, have to remain in the state of waiting, both before and after experiencing the states of pleasure and pain, states commonly known as heaven and hell. Wait a minute, we are in the supplement. Oh, okay. They're saying you can go to supplement 37 and read about heaven and hell. We will not go there now. The angels, unembodied souls, are mere automatons. Automatons are what?
Automatons for the will of God.
Automatons are a moving mechanical device made in imitation of a human being. So it's like a robot. Machine that performs a function according to a predetermined set of coded instructions, especially one capable of a range of programmed responses to different circumstances. So it's basically a robo. The angels,
earlier term.
Yeah, older term. The angels, unembodied souls, are mere automatons for the will of God, and they do nothing which is not desired or prompted by God. These wishes happen to be mere expressions of divine power and activity, which are all pervading. In short, angels are pure and not contaminated with physical embodiment. In this, they are superior to the.
Karthik, the first sentence meaning is not so clear. These wishes happen to be mere expression of divine power and activity, which are all pervading. Before this, what is told is the angels, that is unembodied souls, are mere automatons of the will of God, and they do nothing which is not desired or prompted by God. So it is not God prompting them to do something. It is the will of God. So how do we understand this?
No, it's a double negative. They do nothing which is not desired. So they do only what God wishes. And that's why instead of wishes, maybe desires should have been there.
No, you have
in the next
stopped there. Not desired or prompted by God. That also refers to God.
Correct. So what are you indicating? My understanding is these are basically the hands and eyes of God. So they do exactly what God wants you to do. When Baba says a blade of grass does not move without my will, that will can sometimes be carried out by these angels. And these angels can't do anything else other than themselves. They don't have free will.
No, here
And they don't
here
have.
they here the distinction is
Mhm.
will versus desire and prompting by God. What do you mean by will of God, and what do you mean by prompted by God or say desired by God? As for this sentence, this will of God is different from the desire of God or prompting of God.
Okay, I think
So I
they
think
are
in the
all the same.
avtaric phase, these terms would come, desires and promptings. Like Baba met somebody, or he has his agents or archangels. I mean, it's just, I think, a word play, but they work
I
basically,
think so too.
they are the robots which work as per the divine plan. I mean, on a
Divine
simple
plan.
way, we can take
Okay.
that.
Okay. And your idea that avatars, what they prompt is can be taken as sort of desired or prompted by God.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue. These wishes happen to be mere expressions of divine power and activity, which are all pervading. In short, angels are pure and not contaminated with physical embodiment. In this, they are superior to the man whose consciousness has not extended beyond the limitations of the gross, meaning a man not yet on the path. Paradoxically, man, the inferior, who has succeeded in being contaminated with physical embodiment, is actually the superior in the strength of the potentialities latent within him. Experiencing his imperfections, limitations, and weaknesses, he is potentially right to realize his real strength and purity, which are far above those of and beyond the reach of even the archangels. Wow,
Oh,
very beautiful.
yes. Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, the human being is superior, yet paradoxically inferior, or inferior and yet paradoxically superior to the
Yes.
archangels.
So
Anyway, but
that
the key thing is
inferiority comes because of the sanskaras.
no, I mean yes, of course, but I think I like the phrase here
Yes. Yes.
where it says contaminated with physical embodiment. So
Yes.
physical embodiment is a contamination. So the fact that we are endowed with this body, Baba says, is contaminated with physical embodiment. So that's how he describes it. So
Yes.
that was interesting. Yeah. But does this mean the archangel never gets God realization?
It looks like that they have uh,
Correct.
they are sort of static in one plane with some power. That's all.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whereas the disembodied souls can be helped by a perfect master and can be relieved from their status. But looks like the archangels are stuck with due respect to them. Yeah. Let's continue. The archangels are the mediums for the expression of God's principal divine attributes of creating, preserving, and destroying limited life on an unlimited scale, and of communicating unlimited big K knowledge on a limited scale. The archangels are entities who always enjoy and never suffer. The abode of the archangels, the sub supramental spheres of the fourth, the composite sphere, which is discussed here, comes after the third, the mental sphere, and is nearest the fifth, the real sphere. This is true, yet not the whole truth. For in spite of its proximity, it cannot touch the real sphere. An archangel from the highest sub-supramental sphere can never see God, whereas man in the sixth plane of the third, the mental sphere, can and does see God face to face everywhere and in everything. The last point of the last of the sub-supramental spheres is what the Sufis call the Sadrat ul Muntaha, the last limit, beyond which, as is popularly and rightly believed by the Muslims, even the Archangel Gabriel cannot go. Okay, there must be a Quranic or Sufi story linked to that, and maybe even biblical, because Gabriel is common to both. So basically, Gabriel cannot see God or cannot reach God. Maybe is the story, and that's the Sadrat ul Muntaha. So the archangel is Gabriel, and he's stuck there. Man has and man shall, because man alone can jump over the last seven links of the really non-existent relative existences of all the four spheres into his really own, the fifth, the big R real sphere. Beautiful line. Let me read it slowly again. Man has and man shall, because man alone can, jump over the last seven links of the really non-existent relative existences of all the four spheres into his really own, the fifth, the real sphere. In short, angels must necessarily cease to be angels and become man before they can reach the reality attainable to man. And when man ceases to be man and enters the I am God state, he realizes that angels and archangels are in fact his own attributes in one sense or another. Beautiful. So the other thing is, so archangel can take a human form and get to God.
Yes.
Yeah. Finally, the dissolution of the higher seven subspheres of the fourth, the composite sphere, is the phenomenon called Kayamat or Mahapralaya. When this takes place, the whole of the non-existence of creation, with all its spheres and subspheres, like a manifested tree, recedes into the unmanifested seed form of non-existence, only to be manifested anew once more in the very next moment of eternity.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so this is Mahapralaya. So this is the higher seven subspheres, and that is the phenomenon called the Kayamat or Mahapralaya. Okay.
Here it actually, in my perception or limited knowledge, it clearly reflects what is told in Vedic literature also. So all that is existing today will go into a hibernation in the seed form, escape out of the manifestation as it is today, and then reappear when there is reawakening later. Uh, it is clearly mentioned, non-existent existence of creation with all its spheres and subspheres like manifested trees recede into the unmanifested seed form of
Seed.
non-existence, only to be manifested anew once more in the very next moment of eternity.
Beautiful. Okay. The fourth, the composite sphere, is commonly included in the first three spheres as follows. The gross sphere plus part of the fourth, the composite sphere, is the Alam e Nasut of the Sufis and the Annabhuvan of the Vedantis. Gross sphere plus part of the fourth, the composite. Okay. So here we are talking including the line. The gross sphere plus the line is Alam e Nasut or Annabhuvan. Subtle sphere plus part of the fourth, the composite sphere, is the Alam e Malakut of the Sufis and the Pranabhuvan of the Vedantis. So between lower arc
Yes.
and middle line. The mental sphere plus part of the fourth, the composite sphere, is the Alam e Jabrut of the Sufis and the Manobhuvan of the Vedantis. So here it is the space between the line, the middle line, and the top arc. The latter also call the three, including the four, spheres collectively the Tribhuvan, triple sphere, and the Sufis call them collectively Do Alam, two spheres, meaning the gross on the one hand and the subtle and the mental, including the composite sphere on the other hand. Okay. So if you go to infinite intelligence, so Baba was on the Sufi model. So he was calling gross and then subtle and mental together. So that's where it was two spheres. So then it became three spheres. And here, the only reference we are seeing to five spheres. Anyway, let's continue. The fifth, the real sphere, is also the seventh plane of the path, the plane of full super consciousness, which in simple words means the full human consciousness, fully freed from any vestige or tinge of duality inherent in varying degrees in all of the four spheres of relative existence. It would not be wrong to say that the fifth sphere or the seventh plane is neither any sphere nor plane, but the reality of God's very selfhood, referred to by humanity as Allah, Paramatma, Almighty God, Isdan, and so on. According to the different states of the same one God, from is to I am God, and from I am God to I am everything, there are different terms for the different stages or aspects of the real sphere, such as Alam e Hahut and Alam e Lahut of the Sufis, or Vigyan Bhumika to Vigyan. So there is a journey even there. So you start from I am God to I am everything. After seventh, I mean in seventh rather. Right. So anyway, there was one footnote that was the 37 footnote. So this is the disembodied souls. So the disembodied souls are in the seven lower, right? The seven lower and seven middle subspheres. They come between after experiencing the states of heaven and hell, these souls hang out in the subspheres, in the composite subsphere of middle and lower. Including other things, the disembodied and the unembodied. Okay, yes, correct. Okay, lot of clarity, lot of confusion, lot of good stuff. What's the summary? How is everyone feeling? Silence is not good, but well.
There's lots to process. Number one. Number two is that the heaven and hell state happens when you drop your body. So I'm confused.
If you want, we can actually read it right away. Yeah.
Read what way?
37. Yeah, maybe we will read it right now and read it again when we encounter it in the main text. 36. Yeah, World of Astral. Let's read it right now. Okay. The world of the astral, there is no astral world as such. The astral world is not a portion of the subtle world. However, in between the gross and the subtle worlds, there are 7 sheets which form the so-called world of the astral, and this serves as a link between these two worlds. So what are these 7 sheets also called? The lower composite subspheres. Okay.
Yes.
A gross conscious soul may be said to have an astral body which links the gross with the subtle. The astral may be called the imprint of the subtle over the gross, which imprint is neither gross nor subtle. I repeat that last line. The astral may be called the imprint of the subtle over the gross, which imprint is neither gross nor subtle. In sleep, in the ordinary dream state, one experiences the impressions of the gross world with the subtle body subconsciously and not with the astral body. I repeat that line. In sleep, in the ordinary dream state. So when you dream and you remember about it and so on, and one of the days, what is happening is your impressions of the gross world, I like ice cream, is experienced subconsciously because you're not experiencing it in the gross world using your subtle body. And Baba clarifies this is not the astral body. All experiences in the world of the astral experience through the medium of the astral body are as insignificant as dreams. After disembodiment, death, right? The soul experiences the world of the astral in the astral body. This may be said to the astral journey of the soul. When the soul gets embodied, the astral body is shed, and with the new gross body, it gets a fresh astral body. But as long as it does not get embodied, its subtle and mental bodies undergo the experiences of the state of heaven or hell through the medium of the astral body, in accordance with the impressions that were accumulated with it while it was in an embodied state. This, I think, we have learned from discourses as well. The spiritual path, big P. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Also, the same thing is also mentioned in this in humanity. They
Listen,
say
correct.
it's in the part two. Part
Part
two.
2. Correct.
Hey, Baba.
Yeah, Baba. The spiritual path, big P, begins only with the involution of consciousness when the soul begins to experience the first plane of the subtle world, and not when it just has access to the astral phenomenon from the gross world. At this, okay, so here's an important point. The spiritual path begins only with the involution of consciousness when the soul begins to experience the first plane of the subtle world, and not when it just has access to the astral phenomenon from the gross world. So, a soul before reaching involution can be in the astral plane upon disembodiment, that is, upon loss of a body, death, normal death, or illusory death. When the illusory death happens, you actually experience the astral world and then you go to the heaven or hell state. But that's not to be confused with the subtle world experience. I continue. At the stage when the soul experiences fully the first plane of the subtle world, the astral sheath that linked the subtle with the gross is snapped for good. So the astral sheath, the astral body, linking the subtle with the gross is snapped for good when you actually make it to the first plane. Okay, now there's another table.
Before we
And
go to the table, can we sort of understand this as on death?
Mhm.
So the soul moves without the gross body, but with all the say memories or attachments and other things, and then experiences hell or heaven. And after this
Correct.
process of experience, it also loses that sheath and becomes independent and takes up another life. So in the second life, it doesn't remember anything of the previous life. Okay,
Correct.
otherwise in the astral body, we still remember everything of this cross world, what we did or did not do or whatever it is.
Correct.
There
So
is a
what?
formless body which is formed after the drop of the gross
Uh-huh.
body, which is the
Yes,
astral body,
yes,
which carries all impressions, faces the heaven states, happiness, and whatever. And then that after 4 days, as Baba has said, that astral
Yes,
body is also dropped, and the impressions are there in the mental body, and they take the form in the new gross body.
new cross
So there
body.
has to be a carrier of in between those 4 days. That's the astral body. If you may try to put it simply,
Mm.
you know.
Uh,
No, but don't forget the mental body persists. Mental body is there because
yeah.
Yeah,
so
I know.
like Mama, like
Astral body carries the mental body, which has the impressions,
correct,
and
exactly,
astral body
exactly.
experiences the
Heaven or
heaven
hell,
state, and then
correct,
after 4 days, after the whole process is done, and the net resultant is there after after the payment, and then that goes into the next body. Yeah, yeah, Baba.
correct.
Yes, okay.
Great. So now let's quickly see this table. So this is starting from, yeah, I think let's come back to this table when we encounter the text in God Speaks and come to astral plane, because this is more a summary of stages, almost like a comparison of the various forms. I mean, the various schools of thought, right? Sufi, Vedantic, mystic. So
Yes,
I
yes,
think
we can come to this later.
later, exactly. Okay. So I think let's stop here and continue next week. So yeah, any thoughts before we wrap up?
As you told, lot of clarity and lot of new confusions.
As always, means we had a good session.
And
No, but
happy
I
to know
think
that we are partly in
overall,
subtle bodies. We are partly in subtle plane. Maybe 1%, 0.5%, whatever. But yes,
Yes,
that's the learning.
yeah,
yes.
reassuring. We had to motivate and keep the morale high and all of the good stuff. Right? Okay. Anything else?
Please,
Ashish,
pass on the
Sunilji.
link for me
Yeah,
because I am
Baba.
Yes,
unable to
yes.
open our section in YouTube.
Okay, I will send you that. The channel.
Okay,
Yeah,
channel.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Jai Baba, Karthik,
yeah.
there is a chapter in Listen Humanity, which is the stages on the path. And what we read today are also the stages on the path. So if you think it's appropriate, we can read that sometime to link.
Yeah, sure. I think also if you can read it in the week and see if it gives some clarity which is
Okay,
additional and beyond what we got,
no,
then maybe
I,
it's a good idea. But
no,
you are in. I know you are not. You don't have access to your library. It's okay.
no,
If
I
you
don't
get
have
a soft copy,
my
see it.
Listening
Yeah,
Humanity. I'll request
yeah.
somebody, Mamaji or anybody. It's maybe one chapter. It is stages on the path, which talks about you know uh, waking up and uh, in the same body or the different body and all that. So I think, I mean, I vaguely remember that it is related to what we read today. Even otherwise, eh,
I
anybody can.
can read that, but somebody has to send me a link for that. I don't have the resources with
I
me.
have the
No, no.
hard
So
copy.
actually, once I send you, no, no, no. Once I send you the uh, YouTube link, you need
Ah,
not read it. Also, you can just find the path, find
okay,
that
okay.
chapter, and see the corresponding video. Do you have
Sure,
Trello
sure,
working
sure.
still?
Huh?
Do you have Trello working still? Because then you can
Trello,
get all the.
Trello, what has Trello of the group I am unable to see.
Okay.
Trello, I downloaded one Trello that is
Mhm.
saying it is Sridharan's Trello, and I need to put everything into that.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. So you're not using the same ID that you probably used
Yes,
before.
yes, that is
Maybe that's what
the
happened. Yeah.
confusion. You can
oh,
guide
okay.
me on that, how to go back to that.
I will find that email address and send you what you have
Okay,
signed in.
okay.
Okay.
There's one more possibility. We have the recording of Listen Humanity, which I'm listening to. I'll find the correct session and I'll send it to you, Karthik.
Yeah, send it on the
So
group.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
send
Send
it
it,
on
send
the
it on the
group
group. Thank you
so
so
that
much.
everybody, so that
Everybody can
every,
listen to it
yeah,
in the coming week.
and correlate if it's relevant or what is common between what we read and what what is mentioned in this humanity. Because those are also basically Baba's words, but I think edited by Don Stevens.
Yes, yes. So I think as a parting note, I'd like to say something. I'd like to say that if you feel overawed by, oh, there's so much of complexity here, this confusing, what is this, and so on. Just remember how we felt in 2020. It was far worse. So at least I'm speaking for myself.
At that
So
time,
in that
seven was a big staircase to climb. Now it is
exactly. Now
7
we'll
into
deal with
7, it is
21.
becoming.
Yeah, no, we'll deal. So in that sense, I think it's very reassuring
Yeah.
that we have made some progress. But well, there's more to learn. We'll happily learn together. Yeah. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's the
So
parting note I have.
just want to add to
Yeah.
your great party note is that we are climbing one step by one step as the stages on the path, and of course a long way to go.
Absolutely.
I,
Promises
even
to keep and
I have to add something.
sure, please.
As you must have, I also pointed out, I'm reading GSN Murthy's book, Wonders of Silence. And there he
Yes.
talks of his meeting with Shankaracharya when Shankaracharya was visiting Kharagpur, where Dr. Murthy was based. And during discussions, this comes up and Murthy comes up with the idea the Vedantas. I think a better word to describe Vedanta is Bhedanta. Bhed means differentiation, the two, manyness, Bhed. So he
Correct.
says that that's something which I very innovative. I like the
Yes.
real
Vedanta.
real
Okay.
Vedanta is actually Vedanta. Ved ka
Correct.
ant. Yeah. Jai
So
Baba.
bring an end to all the differentiation or the
Yes, yes, yes.
distinctions. Yeah. But I still love Vedanta. So if I'm in the word. because the meaning is so deep and profound. So I just love. You were saying something, Sunilji.
No, I was just listening today. I decided to just listen.
Oh, come on. We love your questions. We want those questions.
Annihilation of mind. We should not ask questions. Just use the heart.
Yes, agreed, agreed.
We
No,
are all same.
you are
We are
missing
all
one
same.
point there. Awakened mind.
No.
So only before
I wish.
awakening, you don't miss it.
Yes, yes. We need to awaken the
Sunilji, you
mind.
are in India.
Yes, I'm in Delhi. I'm in Gurgaon. I'm with my mother.
Okay. Jai Baba.
Yeah. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba,
Jai Baba,
everybody.
Jai
Have
Baba.
a
Jai Baba.
great
Jai Baba.
week ahead. God bless. Thank
Jai
you. Jai
Baba.
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 Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
Tell us how
Jai
California. Oh, it jumped off. Okay, bye. Kama, Kama.
Come on. Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.